Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to go deep.
Today, we're jacking into The Matrix.
Ooh, one of my all-time favorites.
Definitely a classic. And we've gotten a ton of requests from you guys to unpack some of the big ideas in the film.
Yeah, it's not just about the awesome action, right? There's a lot to chew on.
Right. You've sent in some excerpts highlighting those deeper themes, and we're going to explore why The Matrix is still so relevant, even decades after it blew everyone's minds.
I think what makes it so fascinating is how it uses this concept of a simulated reality to make us question our own assumptions about the world.
It's like, okay, maybe we're not plugged into some giant computer, but are there other matrices we're living in without even realizing it?
Exactly. Think about all the systems that shape our lives. Language, culture, media, even the way we think about ourselves. These can all act like invisible programs influencing our perceptions.
So it's getting at this idea that reality is a construct, right? Not just in the sci-fi sense, but in the way we experience and interpret the world around us.
Exactly. And The Matrix uses this mind-bending scenario to explore the philosophical question, what is real anyway?
And then there's that whole red pill, blue pill choice Neo has to make. I mean, who hasn't thought about that at some point? Like, do you want the comfortable illusion or the harsh truth?
Right, and the film cleverly plays with that, because even after Neo chooses the truth, the red pill, it's not like he's suddenly all-knowing and free. He still faces challenges and constraints within the Matrix.
It's not just a one-time choice.
Exactly. It's a constant process of questioning, learning, and adapting, kind of like in real life, right? We're always making choices, big and small, that shape our reality, and sometimes those choices have unintended consequences.
It makes you think about how much free will we really have.
Right. Are we truly in control of our destiny, or are we just playing out a script that's already been written? The Matrix uses those sci-fi elements to explore those very human questions.
It's like fate versus free will, a classic philosophical dilemma.
Exactly. And the film doesn't give us easy answers, which is what makes it so thought-provoking.
The source material also highlighted this idea of belief as being crucial to Neo's journey.
Oh, absolutely. Morpheus's belief in Neo is what allows him to tap into his potential. Even when Neo doubts himself, Morpheus is there saying, "No, you are the one."
And that unwavering faith from a mentor, that can make all the difference, can't it? Not just in a sci-fi story, but in real life, too.
For sure. Think about the teachers, coaches, or even friends who've believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. It can be incredibly empowering.
It's like the Matrix is saying, hey, having someone believe in you can unlock possibilities you never thought possible.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, the film also shows how limiting beliefs, those doubts we have about ourselves, can hold us back.
Okay, so belief, or the lack of it, can literally shape our reality, just like those lines of code in the Matrix.
And that brings up another big theme, the role of technology in shaping our lives. I mean, the Matrix itself is this giant technological trap, right?
Or a pretty bleak view of technology in that sense.
Right. But the film doesn't just demonize technology. The rebels use technology too, but in a way that empowers them to fight back against the system.
So it's like technology is a tool, and it depends on how we use it, right? It could be a force for good or bad.
Precisely. And I think that's a conversation we're still having today, right? About the impact of social media, AI, and all these other emerging technologies.
Yeah, it's like the Matrix anticipated a lot of our modern anxieties about the dark side of technology.
Absolutely. But it also reminds us that technology itself isn't the problem. It's how we choose to use it and what values we embed in it.
It's about being mindful of our relationship with technology and making sure it serves humanity, not the other way around.
Exactly. And that leads to another really important theme, the need for human connection, even in a world increasingly dominated by technology.
Yeah, for all its high-tech coolness, the Matrix is ultimately about the importance of human relationships, right?
Right. Think about the bond between Neo and Trinity, or the camaraderie among the rebels. That sense of community is what fuels their fight and what gives their lives meaning in that harsh post-apocalyptic world.
It's like even if we're not fighting sentient machines, that need for connection, for belonging, is something we all share, right?
Absolutely. The film reminds us that even in a world increasingly mediated by technology, our bonds with each other are what make life worth living.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about reality being a construct, the power of choice, the importance of belief, and the complex relationship we have with technology, all within the first few minutes.
And we're just getting started. What's fascinating about The Matrix is how it weaves these big ideas into a thrilling story with compelling characters.
Right, it's a film you can watch on multiple levels. You can enjoy the action, the special effects, And then you can really dive into the philosophical stuff.
Exactly. And that's what makes it such a rich and enduring film. It's a film that keeps on giving, even decades later.
Okay, before we go deeper down the rabbit hole, let's take a closer look at some of the specific points raised in the excerpts you brought. There's a lot to unpack here.
Sounds good. I think one of the things that stood out to me was how the film uses visual metaphors to convey complex ideas. For example, the contrast between the slick, artificial world of the Matrix and the gritty reality of the real world.
Yeah, it's like the film is visually representing that tension between illusion and truth, right?
Exactly. And that visual storytelling adds another layer of meaning to the film. It makes us think about how our surroundings can shape our perceptions.
So it's like even the way we design our spaces, the colors we surround ourselves with, all that can subtly influence how we think and feel.
Right. It's like the film is encouraging us to be more mindful of our environments and how they might be shaping us.
And then there's the whole thing about language and communication. Your source material really delved into how characters like Morpheus use language to guide Neo's understanding of the Matrix.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's like Morpheus is teaching Neo a new vocabulary, a new way to think about the world outside the Matrix's programming.
Like when he keeps saying, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Exactly. He's using these carefully chosen words to help Neo break free from the mental constraints of the Matrix.
And that makes me think about how powerful language is in general, right? The words we use can either limit our thinking or expand it.
And the film shows how language can be used for both control and liberation. The agents use language to manipulate and deceive, while the rebels use it to inspire and empower.
Whoa, I never thought about it that way. It's like The Matrix is a masterclass in communication skills, showing how language can be used to persuade, inform, and even transform.
And that's what makes it so relevant to our lives, right? We're constantly bombarded with information, and we need those critical thinking skills to decipher what's real, what's manipulation, and what's truly empowering.
It's like The Matrix is training us to be more discerning consumers of information, to think for ourselves and not just accept everything we're told, which, let's be honest, is a pretty valuable skill in today's world.
Absolutely. It's about questioning the narratives we're given and seeking out diverse perspectives.
Okay, I'm already geeking out and we barely scratched the surface. But this is just part one of our deep dive into the Matrix.
There's so much more to explore.
Exactly. We've only just begun to unpack the layers of meaning in this mind-bending film.
So stay tuned for parts 2 and 3, where we'll delve even deeper into the philosophical and social implications of the Matrix.
I'm going to get real.
I can't wait. Okay, so we've talked about those red poop moments.
When you choose to see the truth, even if it's kind of scary.
Exactly. But the Matrix doesn't sugarcoat things, does it?
I mean, that real world they wake up to. Pretty bleak.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, is ignorance bliss after all?
Right. Like, maybe it's better to just stay plugged in and not worry about all the heavy stuff.
Well, that's a big question the film is wrestling with.
And it doesn't give us any easy answers, which is what makes it so interesting.
Right. But even though the real world is tough, the film shows the importance of fighting for what you believe in, even when things look hopeless.
Yeah, like those rebels. They're up against some serious odds.
Totally. And one thing that's highlighted in the excerpts is the importance of collective action.
Yeah, even Neo, the one, can't do it all by himself.
Exactly. He needs the support of Morpheus, Trinity, the whole crew.
So it's like, no matter how special you are, you still need other people.
Right. The Matrix emphasizes that idea of community, that we're stronger together.
It's kind of a counter-narrative to all that emphasis on individualism we see so much these days, right?
Totally. The Matrix reminds us that we need each other, that our connections with others give our lives meaning.
Yeah, and those connections sustain the rebels even when they're facing those really dark moments.
Because fighting for what you believe in, it takes a toll, right? There will be sacrifices, there will be losses.
You see that emotional weight on the characters, the burden they're carrying?
But even when they're struggling, there's this ember of hope that keeps them going.
It's like they never lose sight of why they're fighting, even when it seems like all is lost.
Exactly. And that resilience, that refusal to give up, that's what makes them heroic, you know?
Yeah, it's inspiring. And it's not just about blindly believing either.
Oh, for sure. The rebels are constantly questioning, challenging each other, adapting their strategies.
They have to be open to new information, to changing their approach as the situation demands.
Exactly. Critical thinking is crucial, just like in real life, right? Dogmatically clinging to old beliefs, that won't get you very far.
Especially in a world that's changing so fast.
Right. You got to be adaptable, open to new ideas, willing to challenge your own assumptions.
So it's not just about swallowing the red pill and that's it.
No, it's a process, a continuous journey of learning and growth.
It can be uncomfortable, yeah, but it's also how we evolve.
And it's how we connect with others on a deeper level and create something bigger than ourselves.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
I know, right? Community, resilience, critical thinking, all from a sci-fi action film.
It's like The Matrix is a philosophy course disguised as a blockbuster movie.
And it's so entertaining. One thing your excerpts pointed out is how the film uses humor to lighten things up.
Oh yeah, even amidst all the intense stuff.
Yeah, think about that scene where Neo tries to jump between buildings and faceplants.
Oh, I love that scene.
So funny. But it also reminds us to not take ourselves too seriously, to laugh at our mistakes.
Yeah, because learning can be messy.
Exactly. And a good laugh, it can help you get through tough times.
So, The Matrix is teaching us to be more resilient, but also to find joy in the journey, even when things get rough.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always a reason to smile.
Love that.
And now, should we tackle the ending?
Let's do it. That ending, it's iconic, but it's also super ambiguous.
Totally. And one thing that stood out to me in your excerpts is how it subverts those typical Hollywood endings.
Right. The good guys don't totally win. The bad guys aren't completely vanquished. There are still questions.
It's more like the fight for freedom is ongoing.
Neo stops the machines for now, but who knows what the future holds.
Exactly. And that final message he gives, that he's going to show the machines a world where anything is possible.
It's hopeful, but it's also really mysterious.
Yeah. It leaves us wondering, what does that world actually look like?
It's like the film is inviting us to imagine the possibilities, to create that future ourselves.
And that connects back to what we were talking about earlier, how The Matrix isn't just a film, it's a call to action.
Right. We can all be the one in our own way, fighting for what we believe in, creating a world where anything is possible.
And to do that, we need those qualities we see in the rebels. Courage, resilience, that willingness to embrace the unknown.
Think about Neo's journey, how he goes from this kind of insecure hacker to this, like, reality-bending superhero.
It's amazing.
And it's not just about superpowers, it's about that inner transformation, the realization of his own potential.
Right, he steps into his power.
You know, something that really struck me in the excerpts you sent was how The Matrix is also a love story.
Oh, absolutely. Neo and Trinity, their love is so central to the film.
Yeah, it's what drives them, motivates them to fight, to risk everything.
And it literally brings Neo back from the dead.
That kiss. It's like the film is saying love is this ultimate force, even stronger than the machines.
It's a beautiful idea that love can transcend even the most powerful systems of control.
It reminds us that we need to nurture those human connections, those bonds that give our lives meaning.
Especially in a world where technology is becoming more and more dominant.
Yeah, we need to make sure technology serves us, not the other way around.
Exactly. We have to hold on to our humanity, to our capacity for love and compassion.
So The Matrix is giving us this blueprint for navigating a complex world.
Yeah, it's about being mindful of our relationship with technology, being open to new ideas, and never giving up on those human connections that make life worth living.
Powerful stuff.
And I think that's why The Matrix is still so relevant today. It's not just a film, it's a conversation starter, a mirror reflecting back our own hopes, fears, and anxieties.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What matrix are we living in right now? What systems of control are we blindly accepting? What potential are we not tapping into?
Such good questions. And that's the beauty of The Matrix. It encourages us to ask those questions, to challenge the status quo, and to imagine a better future.
So maybe we all need a little red pill every now and then, a jolt to wake us up to the possibilities.
Totally. And remember, there's more to reality than meets the eye.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dive into the final part of our Matrix deep dive.
I'm excited to see where we end up. We were talking about the ending of the film and how it's both hopeful and ambiguous.
Yeah, Neo flies off after making that promise to the machines. But what does it all mean? What's your take on that final scene?
Well, you see Neo kind of transcending the limitations of the Matrix, right? Becoming something more than human.
It's like he's evolved beyond the code.
Exactly. And it suggests there's potential for change, for evolution, for something beyond what we can currently grasp.
But the film doesn't give us all the answers.
Right. It leaves it open to interpretation.
What does that world where anything is possible actually look like?
That's the big question. I think the film is saying, hey, we've given you the tools, we've shown you the possibilities, now it's up to you to create that future.
It's like a challenge to the audience.
Exactly. To take those ideas and apply them to our own lives, our own world.
So we can all be the one in our own way.
Absolutely. We can question the systems that limit us, fight for what we believe in, and try to create a world where anything is possible. It starts with each of us.
I love that. It's like instead of waiting for some external savior, we have the power to create change ourselves.
Exactly. And to do that, we need to cultivate those qualities we see in the rebels: courage, resilience, open-mindedness, and a willingness to learn and grow.
Think about Neo, right? He starts out as this kind of curious but doubtful hacker.
Yeah, and he ends up bending the rules of reality.
It's an incredible transformation.
And it's not just about superpowers, right? It's about realizing your own potential, that shift in mindset.
Speaking of transformations, one thing that really struck me was how The Matrix is also a love story.
Oh, absolutely. Neo and Trinity's love is such a driving force throughout the film.
It's what motivates them to fight, to sacrifice, to keep going when things get tough.
And it literally brings Neo back to life.
That kiss. Right. So powerful. It's like the film is saying that love can conquer even the most powerful forces.
It's this incredible act of defiance against the cold logic of the machines.
Yeah, like love is this ultimate expression of humanity.
And in a world increasingly dominated by technology and AI, that message is more important than ever.
So The Matrix is reminding us to nurture our relationships, to stay connected to what makes us human.
Exactly. It's about holding on to those things that make life worth living, even in the face of overwhelming challenges.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into The Matrix, what's the one takeaway you'd want our listeners to walk away with?
Well, it's tough to choose just one, but I think it's that idea of questioning everything.
Being like those little kids who keep asking why.
Exactly. Don't just accept things at face value. Be curious, explore different perspectives, and challenge your own assumptions.
Because if we don't question, we're essentially living in our own little matrix, right? Blind to the possibilities beyond our limited perception.
So true, and that's what makes The Matrix such a powerful and enduring film. It's a call to wake up, see the world with fresh eyes, and to realize our own potential for change.
It's been an incredible journey unpacking all these layers of meaning with you.
I've loved it.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into The Matrix.
We hope it's inspired